coaches and counselors and all of the resources we provide to equip you as a wise and faithful steward. So here at the end of the year, I'd love to just invite you to be one of our supporters. We have a pretty big goal to reach, $250,000 between now and the end of the year, and that's in part going to come from our faithful AFR listeners. And so if you'd like to be a part of this ministry and make a gift of any amount, we'd certainly be grateful. You can do that on our website, faithfi.com. That's faithfi.com. Just click the Give button at the top of the page. And whether you give one time or monthly, it would go a long way to helping us reach our year-end goal. faithfi.com. We'll be right back. Our thanks to Certified Kingdom Advisor Wade Chessman, President and Wealth Advisor, and his team at Chessman Wealth Strategies in Dallas for their support of faith and finance. Their goal is to help their clients expand their understanding of biblical financial principles and how to implement them. The website is chessmanwealth.com. The phone number is 214-572-2120. Investment advisory services offered through CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Angels seem to be, in some special way, particularly geared to give instructions. And you know what? That's at the very core of who they are as individuals. Because what does the word angel mean? At its very basic core meaning is the word messenger.
Dr. David Jeremiah continues his series, Angels, Who They Are and How They Help. Next time on Turning Point. 5:30 a.m. and 7 p.m. Central on American Family Radio.
What's most important to you when it comes to choosing your financial advisor? Someone who's aligned with your biblical values? How about someone who will take the time to explain your options? Certified Kingdom Advisors are professionals who meet high standards in competence and integrity, and have been trained to offer biblical financial advice. To find a Certified Kingdom Advisor in your area, visit faithfi.com and click Find a CKA.
Grateful for support from Eventide Investments on the Faith and Finance program. Eventide's approach to values-based investing is grounded in the belief that humankind was created in the image of God, with intrinsic dignity, value, and worth. Eventide calls this investing that makes the world rejoice. More information is available at eventideinvestments.com. That's eventideinvestments.com.
Texas. Hi, Faye. How can I help you? Hi, Faye. Go right ahead.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. My situation is that I'm trying to, I'm 71, and I had a medical emergency back in 2008, and I had to draw everything out of my savings and my Social Security savings and all that. I have, in the last year, put all of my savings that I have into the 2 CDs. What I'm wondering is there something that I can, at my age, put some type of Social Security account or account like that? Is there something somewhere I need to be putting that money other than the CD?
I see. Yeah. So the way we would normally think about that is the first bucket, if you will, is what we call your emergency fund. So that would be the money that's liquid, it's safe, it's not at the risk of the stock market, and it's there for emergencies. Typically in this season of life, you might want to have, let's say, 6 months worth of expenses in that emergency fund. So you would total up all of your expenses over a month's time, multiply that by 6, and that might give you a goal for what you would want to have at a minimum in your emergency fund. And the idea there is that it's probably in a separate savings account, earning some interest. The good news is you can get a decent amount of interest these days, 4.5% plus. If you use an online savings account with one of the online banks, maybe you link it to your checking account electronically if you're comfortable with that. And then it's not there in your checking account where it's not quite as easy to spend it, but it's maybe 1 or 2 days away from an electronic transfer if you needed it. I would probably put that in a savings account, not a CD, just because by definition, you want to be able to get access to that when you need it. Then if you had money that went beyond that, then we can look at, what is the time horizon for that money and whether or not you want to take any risk. If you don't want to take any risk, then you probably want to stick with CDs because you can get a decent rate of return right now. Instead of 4.5% on that savings account, maybe you're getting 5.5% on a 1-year CD, and that's a great return. Now, if you wanted to take a portion of what you had beyond your emergency fund and invest it, now we could start looking at things like bonds, corporate or government bonds. We could look at even a smaller allocation to stocks to try to grow the money and outpace inflation even beyond the return you might expect on the savings or the CDs. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I appreciate your time and your help there.
Well, I'm happy to do it. Now, I did see you had a question here in my notes about an IRA. I will say you can do an IRA at any age, but you do have to have earned income. So what is earned income? Well, earned income is income that comes to you by way of wages like salaries and tips and other employee compensation. Unearned income is bond interest, CD interest, stock dividends, interest from savings accounts. So if you're not working and you don't have any earned income, then you would not be able to do an IRA. But if you are, then you could put in up to the amount of earned income you have, or the limit for this year, which is $7,500 if you're over the age of 50.
Okay, I am still working.
Okay.
It's only a part-time situation, but
Okay.
I have a little company set up that I file my taxes under and all that.
Great. Yeah. So then that would allow you to contribute to an IRA up to the amount of earned income you have, or $7,500, whichever comes first.
So how would I go about starting an IRA?
Yeah, so you would just open an IRA at one of the custodians. You could do that at your bank. You could do that at a brokerage firm like Fidelity or Schwab, and then you'd make the contribution. And once you did, then you'd have to decide how you want to invest the money. Do you want to put it in CDs inside the IRA? Do you want to put it in stocks and bonds? You could choose whatever you'd like.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
All right, Faye. Thank you for calling today. We appreciate you being on the program. Let's go to Alabama. Hi, Dee. How can I help?
Hi, thank
Hi
you.
there. Go ahead.
My husband died. Is there any reason for me to, instead of having the will to go through probate, just put my daughter's name instead of his on the will and recording it?
Yes, there is a reason not to do that, because for tax purposes, it's better if your daughter inherits the property as opposed to receives it through the deed. So if you put her on the deed, then she gets what's called your cost basis. So the way you determine the taxes on the sale of real property is when it's sold, if you have a profit, then you pay capital gains tax on it. Well, if you put her on the deed, she's going to keep your original cost basis. So what you paid for it is what will determine ultimately how much profit there is when it's sold. If, however, Dee, she inherits the property, then she would actually enjoy what's called a stepped up cost basis. So the new cost basis when she inherits it would be the value of the property as of the date of your death. And that would mean that she would pay probably a lot less in capital gains because, if she turned around and sold it right away, there would be no gain because she would have, the ability to sell it at the same market value of the stepped up basis. Does that make sense?
Yes. May I ask one more question?
Sure, very quickly.
The cost of probate.
Yes. You're wondering how much does probate cost?
Yes.
Yeah. it could, if it's an uncontested probate, it could range anywhere from, $1,500 to $3,000 would be typical.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we appreciate your call today. Thanks for being on the program. Let's go to Kentucky. Hi, Catherine. How can we help?
Yes, I'm calling. I've called you before and to what you said. Then one is it still okay if the time invest in index fund?
Yeah, I think that can be a good way to go with regard, especially if you're opening an account for a grandchild. Typically, you'd have a smaller amount of money you're working with, and as a result of that, it gives you good broad diversification. You just capture the broad moves of the market at that point with an index fund, and it can be a very effective way to invest because it's low cost. You have good diversification, and you're essentially just capturing the moves of the market over time, not necessarily trying to pick the winners and losers. The only reason why you might not want to use an index fund is if you want, for instance, to use a faith-based investing fund family where it was aligned with your values as a Christian. That would be where you might want to avoid an index fund, because an index fund would have, every company in the index, which may mean that you, for instance, might own a company that is in tobacco or alcohol, something like that, because those would be a part of the index, whereas with a faith-based investing fund, often they will, avoid those to be more aligned with your values as a believer.
Okay, so on faith-based, do I just go online or do I go into your own?
Yeah, you could find those fund families on our website at faithfi.com. That's faithfi.com, and just click on the show, and you'll see a listing of all those faith-based and fund families.
How much is I belong to Fidelity, or I had somebody at Fidelity, so I still have an account there. If I decide to do that, that's who I'd go to.
Yes, ma'am. Either Fidelity or Schwab, you could buy those fund families.
Faith-based. How much is the charge per month?
Well, if you were to go directly into one of those mutual funds, you'd have to look at the particular fund you selected to see what the expense ratio might be. It could be maybe 1.1%. It could be, maybe 1.5%. You'd want to check the expenses on each fund family to see what the fees are for the management, and all of that is disclosed in the mutual funds prospectus.
So once again, I would go film an investment and go in and look for it.
No, the Sound Mind Investing is a great website, and they do have some great mutual fund selections. But if you're looking specifically for faith-based investments, you'd probably want to head to our website at faithfi.com and click on the show. And then if you scroll down, you'll see the faith-based investing underwriters of this program all listed there.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Happy to do it. Thanks for your call today, Catherine. We appreciate you being on the program. Mike in Texas, looks like we're going to have to try to get to you next week. Let's see if you can hold the line. Maybe our team can grab that and get you scheduled for a future broadcast. I apologize we didn't get to you today. Well, folks, that's going to do it for us. So thankful to have you along with us today. As we think about managing God's money, here's the ultimate objective. Our heart's desire for you is that you would ultimately see God as your ultimate treasure. That as you manage money, your heart would be aligned with the Father's, and you would see money as a tool to accomplish God's purposes, but that He alone would be your ultimate treasure. And I think as we pursue that and then really see money as a support, a means to an end to accomplish that, it changes everything about how we view our money and our role as stewards in managing God's resources. I hope we've been an encouragement to you today, giving you some practical help, but also, above all else, pointing you back to Jesus. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and come back and join us next week. On behalf of my team today, Jim Henry, Devin Patrick, and Robert Youngblood, I'm Rob West. This has been Faith and Finance on American Family Radio. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast
broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
90.5 KTXG Greenville, Dallas.
Association, a ministry with a mission to inform, equip, and activate people like you to strengthen the moral foundations of American culture and to give aid to the church here and abroad in her task of fulfilling the Great Commission. We couldn't do it without your day-to-day support. American Family Association. Find us online at afa.net.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association. American Family News almost here. Israel continuing their ground operations around Gaza's largest hospital. Trey Yates has the latest from southern Israel.
Israeli forces releasing a video of what they say is a Hamas tunnel on the Al-Shifa hospital complex. Now, it's important to note the Israelis have promised here they would be uncovering a Hamas headquarters. We've not yet seen any evidence to support those claims, but they did release this video and photos showing what they say is a Hamas tunnel, in addition to weapons inside the radiology department of Gaza's largest hospital. Now, Hamas has denied that they used the hospital as a headquarters, and note that there are still hundreds of Palestinian patients receiving treatment there, including dozens of babies who are in desperate need of medical support.
Young Americans are sympathizing with terrorists. Not only the Hamas terrorists who attacked Israeli civilians on October 7th, but now also the Al-Qaeda terrorists who attacked our own soil in 2001. In a sick trend, a handful of users on the video sharing platform TikTok, a subsidiary of Beijing-based ByteDance, praised Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden's anti-American writings as, quote, eye-opening and right. Fox News contributor Joe Concha says we have a serious information crisis on our hands.
And the fact that more Americans now are getting their news from TikTok than many other legitimate news sources, TikTok, a spy app courtesy of the Chinese Communist Party that Joe Biden so openly embraced in San Francisco, that tells you that we have a serious information crisis on our hands, especially with young adults in our country.
A Washington, D.C. teenager bragged on Instagram about killing a fellow teen, but the story gets worse. Carmen Roberts explains.
Court records show 17-year-old Lorenzo Thompson was seen in a live stream on Instagram earlier this month, appearing to brag about killing 14-year-old Nico Estep, and that he showed no remorse, actually appearing to celebrate with others while performing a macabre reenactment of the shooting. Metropolitan Police say surveillance camera images show there was someone with Thompson on the night of the alleged murder who watched and did nothing to stop him. His mother. The 17-year-old's charged as an adult with second-degree murder. No word if his mother will also face charges. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
A pro-family leader believes that a violent riot held by Palestinian and Hamas supporters was staged in order to paint the DNC and Democrats as victims. Chad Groening has more.
At least 6 U.S. Capitol police officers were injured on Wednesday night when a pro-Palestinian riot erupted outside the Democratic National Committee headquarters. The pro-Palestinian riot was in sharp contrast to the massive pro-Israel rally on Tuesday at the National Mall, which saw an estimated 300,000 people gather peacefully in support of the Jewish state and to take a stand against the anti-Semitism that has broken out across the country, much of it on university campuses. Sandy Rios is Director of Governmental Affairs at the American Family Association.
The people who support Hamas, which is supporting terrorism, for the most part, everywhere they go, they're wreaking havoc. There's some kind of violent act. They're not a peaceful bunch at all. We know they're not. If they support terrorism, they are not peaceful.
But Rios has a theory that the DNC rally was staged as a way to take the heat off Democrats for voting against aid for Israel.
It might have been that they wanted to paint the DNC and Democrats as victims, because rationally speaking, there's no reason in the world why Palestinian pro-Hamas demonstrators would not attack the RNC. Look at the DNC. Everyone knows that Republicans are supporting Israel. And so the protesters that are pro-Hamas go attack the DNC? I don't think so. I think this was something to get the heat off the back of Democrats that voted against aid for Israel.
I'm Chad Groening.
An Ohio shooting left 3 victims dead and 1 injured. The City of Mentor's Communications Director, Ante Legarsic, gives an update on the suspect.
The shooter has died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The police have cleared the trailer itself. They went in and did a sweep of it.
More news online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Pugh.
Dallas-Fort Worth. Phil Gaither and the Gaither Vocal Band's new Star Shining Christmas Tour will be coming to Texas Trust CU Theater at Grand Prairie December 3rd. Sing along to all of your favorite Christmas songs with the Gaither Vocal Band and their special guests including Mark Lowry, Linda Randall, The Sound, The Melans, and more.
Did you know?
Tis the season for Bill Gaither and the Gaither Vocal Band. Tickets are going fast at platformtickets.com. Presented by Phil DeCap Concerts, a nonprofit organization.
It's First Time Caller Day on Trivia Friday. The number to call with your question or your answer to a question is 888-589-8840.
It is first time callers, so start lining up, folks. If you've never been on the show with us, today could be your day.
So first time callers only today. And we're going to ask 3 questions each.
The quack of a duck does not produce an echo. Is that true or false?
That falls under the category of it's just wrong. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trivia Friday on American Family Radio. Thanks for joining us on this November the 17th, 2023. Appreciate you listening to Trivia Friday, American Family Radio. I'm your professors here at this fine institution of higher education. Tim Wildman with Ed Battagliano. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Tim.
And JJ Jasper.
This husband bought his wife new balls for her abacus. It's the small things that count.
Oh, boy.
Well, get off to a great start here, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, I'm going to have to explain abacus to our listeners. It's the forerunner to the calculator. Right. The little metal bars across there with those little balls. The forerunner, the prototype for it. So his husband bought her some new balls.
Yeah, we got it.
You remember what I did last week with that? Spinning my wheels? Remember y'all got on to me? I spent about 2 minutes describing your question.
He's in the same run.
Wait, I'm in the same.
Well, no, so we got to know the joke.
Yeah. So the husband bought the wife some new balls for her abacus. It's the little things that count.
The little
balls that count.
They swipe over there.
Okay.
Actually count. It's the small things that count.
I got you.
Okay, we're gonna start that again.
Can we hit that intro music again?
Yeah. All right, Trivia Friday it is on American Family Radio. Tim, Ed, and JJ. We call this
Learning University.
Learning University is on the air. We're going to ask questions, trivia questions, 3 each, and you're going to call in and answer one of our questions.
Because you can.
Yes.
You can, folks. You can do it.
Answer one of our questions and ask a question of us. And it's first-time callers only today. So if you've never got on the air with us, this is your time to call in and participate, be a part of Learning University. The phone number to call us is 888-589-8840. 888-589-8840. 888-589-8840. What other ground rules do we have, Ed?
Well, we do have a lower age limit, so you have to be 11 years old or older to call in. Also, one of these 9 questions is a mystery question. And JJ, that means something on this here show.
If you land on the mystery question, you don't know which one it is, but if you happen to land on it and answer it correctly, you'll hear this sound. The beloved cowbell. Yeah. And that bell lasted as long as the football coach for Mississippi State. Kind of lingered there for just a little while.
Boom,
Then it was suddenly gone.
So anyway, if you land on that,
he's going to make his house payment, though.
Yes, he will be able to. Him and Jimbo.
Jimbo Fisher.
Old Jimbo.
He's going to be okay.
They're not going to need to borrow any money from us.
No, they're going to be okay.
So,
father-in-law.
Back to the mystery question. Yeah, if you land on the mystery question, answer it correctly, you'll hear the cowbell, and that means you're going to win yourself a really nice AFA stainless steel tumbler.
That's right. And for those of you who are watching online, you are watching Tim Wildman balance our demonstration coffee mug or tumbler on his head.
I'm like that lady
flawlessly
in Africa carrying the water back to the village.
Yeah, top of her head.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty good for a 60-year-old man.
That's not bad. Not bad. And folks, if you're wondering how you could watch us online, there are 3 ways for you to do it, because there is a live video stream for the program. You can go to Facebook or YouTube and search for Today's Issues. That is normally the name of this program. We call it Trivia Friday on Friday because of what we do here. I think maybe it's Today's Issues live on YouTube, or you can go to our own streaming platform, streaming.afa.net, streaming.afa.net, and you can watch the live video stream not only for this program, but for many others that air here on American Family Radio.
All right, I guess that's it, fellas. We're ready to go here.
All right, well,
bring it in.
Here are my 3 questions from my either-or file. And yes, I've created an either-or file. Is the name of the popular brand of cheese crackers called Cheez-It or Cheez-Its? It's either-or, folks. Cheez-It or Cheez-Its? Second question. This is for my granddaughter, Stella. The first coin-operated vending machines were introduced in London, England in the early 1880s. What did they sell? What did the first coin-operated vending machines sell when they first appeared in London, England?
Well, when was first appeared? Okay.
1880s.
The first vending machine, 1880s. So, wow,
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize it went back that far.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then third question, a University of Arizona study found, folks, this is a little gross, found that toilet seats have 10 times fewer germs than cell phones. Is that true
I don't
or
want
false?
I don't want to know the answer to that. I don't think any of us do.
University of Arizona study found that toilet seats have 10 times fewer germs than cell phones. Is that true?
Wow, way to bring
Somebody
it this close to lunch, Ed.
Somebody give me some Lysol over here. Go ahead, JJ.
Here's what I've got. First question. Only 2 countries have square flags. Name them. Only 2 countries have square flags. Ed, you'd be disappointed in me if I didn't have a flag joke. So I don't
Yes,
know.
I would.
I don't know much about Sweden, but their flag's a real plus. Back to my questions. Second question. A gift of China is given to celebrate the anniversary of how many years? Now, I'm not talking Xi Jinping.
No.
I'm talking about your best dinnerware. You know, they get the China cabinet. So, you know, one is silver. I think when you first get married, the first year it's cardboard because you're just trying to struggle to get by. Then there's platinum or gold or whatever. Well, one anniversary, you're supposed to give China to each other to celebrate which anniversary?
That's
Tim, you look perplexed.
Well, I probably shouldn't say this, but I think China, talking about the plates and everything.
Right.
That's the most overrated, one of the most overrated things in life.
Thank you.
I'm
They're
with
in the
you.
cabinet.
With me on that?
You might bring them out once a year.
Maybe.
You may even just bring them out every.
We haven't even talked about
5
this
years.
between us, but we're all in agreement on this.
Yeah, and then even if you do bring them out, you're afraid to touch anything.
Yeah.
Because what if I break it? Then the
What if
set
I
is
break the
ruined.
fine China?
It's
It's
kinda like
always fine
It's
China.
like an expensive car you never want to drive.
Right. And I'll say, I want to add one other thing.
Yeah.
Now, my wife and I, all I'm going to say is we're in our 60s. I don't want my wife getting mad at me here, but we've moved past all those, you know, to the cardboard.
I was joking about the cardboard.
No.
Is it really? I don't know what they are.
No, we use paper plates most of the time when we eat because we just go, do you want to do the dishes? I don't want to do the dishes.
Hey,
Well, look, you're talking about giving fine China. I want to know, what do people in China? What are their good dishes?
That's a good question.
Hey, back to my question. I got one more. So, a gift of China is given to celebrate the anniversary of how many years? Sorry, we got off on that little detour.
I'm not.
Well, look,
I'm anti-China.
let's go ahead. What about
in more ways than one?
What about when you're supposed to wear white slacks and things. You know, that's just that. A lot of people are throwing that rule out.
Yes, that's right.
We've been too rigid in those things.
You know what? We're rebels.
Three Mavericks here, your professors. Third question, true or false? The traditional chef's hat has 100 pleats, which symbolizes how many ways there are to cook an egg. Is it true or false? The traditional, you see the white floppy chef's hat, it has 100 pleats, which symbolizes how many ways there are to cook an egg. True or false?
Here are my three.
By the way, I'm just going to tell you, our forefathers in the Revolutionary War, they'd be proud of us. We are rebels. We want to wear white after Labor Day.
Yeah,
we will.
That's right.
King George, you can take a long walk off a short pier.
Yeah, we're nailing that theses on the door. We're wearing white after Labor Day. We don't care about having fun, China. You hear me?
King George.
All right. Here are my three questions.
We're Protestants.
Number one, Tom Brady, who has since retired from the NFL, he won 7 Super Bowls, okay, as the quarterback. That's a record that'll never be broken.
I don't see how it could be broken.
However, there are 2 former players that had 4. They won 4 quarterbacks that won 4 Super Bowls. I want to know their names. Number 2, what was the last volcano to erupt on U.S. mainland?
Oh,
good question.
That's a good question.
What was the last volcano eruption on the U.S. mainland? So I'm excluding Hawaii and Alaska.
Right.
Got me?
Gotcha.
Okay, and finally, this is for a travel mug as well, because an AFR stainless steel travel mug, because this is a degree of difficulty, which is probably a 6 or a 7. But here's the question: this person